afternoon. I'm Clare Boater Latimer, and I welcome you all to Career Conversations brought to you by Complex Release Limited. Today on the hot seat, we have with us Shruti Dubey to tell you about her experiences as a current gap year student. As well as being a current gap year student, Shruti's just finished her A-levels at Bangkok Prep. So we're glad to have you here. And thanks for joining us today. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Have you had a nice morning?
Yeah, I got a lot of work done, got some few hours of relaxing in, so I'm good.
Great. So I'll just dive right into the questions then. What was it like for you going to an international school? I was just wondering, how do you think it added to your experience? What were possibly some positives or even some negatives of going to the international school?
Okay, so I only joined an international school like 5 years ago. Before that, I went to Thai international hybrid school. So the change of environment was what stuck out the most. The people were more diverse. They had more diverse thoughts and backgrounds and cultures. I think the most positive thing about that experience was that I got to learn more about how people can be so different. And the best things about that is like being more open-minded, more appreciative of where people come from, their different thoughts, and just having a more critical approach to life in general. I'd say what I didn't really like maybe was that, I mean, specifically within Thailand, there's a divide between international schools and Thai schools, I believe. And I think that just creates a divide within our society, especially within youths and our culture of intermingling with people from different backgrounds. At an international school, you only really do that with people from a variety of backgrounds, whereas at Thai schools, you get to know more about the local culture, which I didn't really get much exposure to, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I suppose it's nice that you have had the experience of going to both before you changed to the international school. I was also thinking, now that you finished your A-levels, where are you thinking of applying for university? And are you thinking of staying in Thailand or possibly going to university abroad?
So I'm currently on my gap year and university applications are coming up soon. I'm really interested in applying to study law in the UK and also to study liberal arts and sciences or philosophy, politics, and economics in the Netherlands. I guess it wholly depends on where I see myself in the future. And I guess both the options are pretty great because I just love the aspect of like how society works in general, and social sciences is what I'm really interested in. I've thought about applying to a local Thai university called Mahidol, which my siblings are at right now. And I guess if all other routes fail, if I can't attain suitable finances to go abroad maybe next year, then I'd join Mahidol and to study business economics, which would be amazing as well.
Yeah, that also sounds great. Would you say that going to the international school has helped you, find those opportunities and get access to possibly going to university abroad?
Yeah, definitely. I think that since changing from like a Thai school to an international school, I've come to know more about where a British curriculum can lead me. More specifically, I can go abroad more easier. And I'd say without studying at an international school, that wouldn't have been possible. So I'm really grateful to like have so many doors open for me at this point of my life.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, what steps have you taken to get work experience? I know you've only just finished school, but I was just wondering if you've managed to sort of do work experience alongside your studies already, and if you already have some idea of what you might be looking to do in the future.
Yeah, so when I was at school, I was really involved in my community. I was a leader in the student action team. We did charity runs and raised money to donate to local charities. Aside from that, I also led the organization of the Bangkok Service Conference, which is like an annual conference for international schools in Thailand to connect with each other. And I'd say I put that under work experience in my LinkedIn profile because I'd worked on that for over a year. And I think I gained a lot of skills and a lot of ups and downs throughout that experience, especially since we had to move from on-site to remote in terms of the conference. And I guess the culture of working while studying isn't that prominent within Thailand because usually 16 to 18 years old, they just study, they don't work because I don't even think it's that suitable or their parents won't allow them to do that alongside their studies. So I've only started to gain more experiences after having graduated a few months ago. So I'm currently in two groups called Panda Teens and Once Upon a Generation. They're online communities that aim to spread positivity, inspire change, and just like build a community of people with diverse backgrounds, but share the compassionate and passionate mind to connect with each other. Aside from that, I've also gotten the role as guest writer on a startup called Adaptivity, which is based here in Bangkok. And also recently, I've joined the Conflux Revista as an internship trainee for journalism, and it's been really challenging so far, but it's been really exciting as well.
Okay, so you said you all those organizations sound great, and you said you've just only managed to get experience since you graduated, and you're now on a gap year. So do you know what are your plans in general for this year you have ahead of you? What are your goals?
I think when I was at school, I was maybe too focused on studying and doing the best I can and pushing myself to maybe an unhealthy amount. So for the next year, I'm really planning to just relax and calm down a bit maybe and get experiences in fields that I'm actually interested in instead of worrying about the fact that, oh, I need to go into this internship field in order to be successful in this field in the future. So I'm just trying to keep my mind more open at the moment and learn more about what it is I actually am good at and want to do in the future because there are so many interests that I have. And whilst I think that's good, it can maybe divert my perspective on where I should realistically go in the future. So I think just gaining perspective for the next year would be a great thing if I can manage to achieve it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to use your gap year, and you'll have more time once you get to uni. You'll have time to get back into studying and get back into that mentality if you want to. But like this is the time to relax, in my opinion. You mentioned you're doing all these internships, and we've talked a little bit about law and journalism. So what careers are you looking into pursuing, and how are you planning on using your time at university to prepare yourself?
So as you've said, I'm really interested in law and journalism. I think that those two careers really intersect with each other. There's a lot of focus on human lives and how society works. And I'm more interested in human rights and criminal and corporate law. And that translates to journalism as well. I really want to look into those fields and know how it works basically because everything's really confusing at the moment. I mean, it has been for a few years. So just like trying to understand how our system works would be great. Whilst at university, I really hope to gain work experiences in the legal field and journalism field. I've started now, which I think is a great, like I never thought I'd get an internship at this point in my life, but I'm really glad that I have. So I just hope I can build on that in the next coming years.
Great. Finally, how would you rate your overall experience of education so far, and how are you feeling about going to university next year?
I'd say I've had a pretty good education track so far. Like every school I've been to, they've provided me with quality education. They've really pushed me to discover my potential, do the best that I can, whilst providing me support like mental health support and career support. So I think I've been nudged in all the right directions throughout my life. And I just think it's important for me to sustain that for myself moving forward. As for applying to university next year, I really hope to study in the UK or Netherlands, either in the fields of law or philosophy, politics, economics, something like that. So I just really hope I can maintain this consistent effort of going in the right direction, which I don't really know what the right direction is at the moment, but I just hope I'll figure it out when the time comes.
Yeah, and it sounds like your gap year could be a great opportunity to look at lots of different paths that you could follow. Well, great. With this, we've come to the end of our of today's episode of Career Conversations. Thank you, Shruti Dubey, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us, and we'll see you next time with more college and high school experiences.
Thank you for your time as well.
Okay, thank you.